Picture this. You're in a room with a bunch of people, all trying to get ahead. Some play by the rules, work really hard, and stick to their principles. Then there are the others, the ones who will lie, cheat, and do whatever it takes to get to the top, no matter who they have to step on. And here's the thing. A lot of times it's those ruthless people who end up climbing the highest. But why? Is the whole system set up to benefit the people we'd least want to see succeed? Think about it. Throughout history, in politics, in business, you see it everywhere. There are people who, even though they're not exactly moral, have somehow managed to grab an incredible amount of power. From emperors who ruled with an iron fist to CEOs who seem to care about nothing but profit, this story keeps playing out. And it's not just random. It's a big part of who we are as humans, woven into how we evolved and how our societies are built. 1. The cutthroat world of competition. In a universe where resources are tight, competition is a given. Folks who drag their feet, always crying out for fairness, tend to get left in the dust. Meanwhile, those ready to play dirty, to lie and cheat and steamroll anyone in their path, they're the ones that come out on top. This brutal truth makes us face a tough question. Is being good just a handicap when it comes to grabbing power? But here's the catch. Although the real bad apples often seem to win at first, history is also packed with tales of their eventual crash. It's not just why they climb to the top, but can they really stay there? And what about the rest of us, the ones who won't ditch our morals? What does it all mean for us? 2. Nietzsche's take. Master and slave morality. Nietzsche viewed power as an intrinsic and unavoidable aspect of life. Not inherently right or wrong, but simply a fundamental reality. To figure out how some truly awful people manage to thrive, we first need to grasp the essence of power. This leads us to one of Nietzsche's most hotly debated concepts, the distinction between master morality and slave morality. Let's explore this further. Let's say we have two warriors out on the field of battle. The first is tough, knows his own mind, and isn't afraid of anything. He just takes what he wants and bends the world to how he sees fit, without asking anyone's permission. The other warrior is a bit uncertain, always waiting for others to give him the okay, looking for what's fair, and hoping that the world will see his goodness and reward him for it. Now, which one do you think is going to make it out there? Which one is more likely to end up in charge? Friedrich Nietzsche had this idea that what we call morality isn't some kind of universal truth, but rather something that's been shaped through power struggles over time. He identified two basic types of moral systems: master morality and slave morality. These aren't just some highfalutin ideas. They actually help explain why it is that people who are ruthless often end up on top, while those who focus on being kind and fair often have a harder time. 3. The mindset of those in control. The powerful, the leaders, and those who overcome others operate with what's called master morality. This way of thinking is built on values like might, bravery, drive, and authority. For these individuals, something is good if it boosts their ability to be in charge, to make things happen, and to impose their will on the world around them. They aren't looking for others to pat them on the back. They set their own standards. They are the drivers of their own fate and don't see the weak as needing a safety net. Weakness is simply another hurdle to get past. On the flip side, slave morality represents the values held by those who've been pushed down, the folks without a real say, the ones who can't just push their ideas through. This way of thinking doesn't cheer for toughness. Instead, it champions being lowly and putting others first. It preaches that pain is somehow higher and that having control is fundamentally wrong. Nietzsche viewed this as a set of ethics cooked up by people unable to call the shots, a mental trick that let them get by in a world run by the powerful. But here's the unsettling reality. Slave morality doesn't stop ruthless people from rising to power. It actually helps them. By looking down on ambition and making people feel bad for seeking power, it hands power over to those who don't care about right and wrong at all. While good-hearted people wait and wonder, those who follow master morality grab control. And in a world where waiting around means losing, the outcome is predictable. The drive to survive. How the unrelenting thrive. What does all this say about us, though? Are we supposed to just ditch our morals and go full force down a cutthroat path? Or is there a different route, a way to balance might and goodness? To figure that out, we need to dig into the minds of those who grab power, those who won't let life push them around. Imagine a wild and rugged expanse where the rules of survival are harsh and unforgiving. Here, it's not about being fair or gentle. It's about being strong, adaptable, and ready to do whatever is necessary. Lions don't ask for permission before they hunt. Storms don't say sorry for the chaos they cause. Nature doesn't hand out prizes for being good. It favors those who can tough it out, those who can seize control. Human society isn't all that different. Even with our laws and social agreements, that basic fight for survival is still going strong. The people who make it to the top often have one key thing in common: they're ruthless. Not necessarily mean, but they can make tough choices without second-guessing themselves or feeling bad about it. This isn't some coincidence. It's a result of evolution, a tool that's helped both individuals and whole empires take charge in a world where those who pause for too long get left behind. The markers of influence and achievement. For years, psychologists have been exploring the characteristics that foreshadow achievement in cutthroat settings. Over and over, certain trends emerge: a burning drive to succeed, a diminished fear response, and, arguably the most debated aspect, a somewhat lessened capacity for empathy towards individuals who might hinder their progress. It's important to note, this doesn't imply that every powerful individual is a psychopath. Rather, it suggests that numerous powerful people exhibit qualities enabling them to operate free from the emotional hang-ups that can impede others. Take a look at the leaders, entrepreneurs, and conquerors who've changed the course of history, from guys like Julius Caesar all the way to today's business giants. You see a pattern. Waiting around gets you nowhere, and power is something you grab, not something handed to you on a silver platter. The tough ones don't sit back and wait for an invitation to step up. They charge ahead, roll the dice, and deal with the fallout down the road. That's why the brutal often end up on top, while the fence-sitters stay hidden in the background. 6. The power paradox. Might versus understanding. But here's the catch. Brute force just isn't sufficient. Folks who grab power without a lick of sense usually end up with a dramatic crash. The same traits that help someone rocket to the top can also spell their doom. A leader who relies solely on instilling fear will ultimately be devoured by the very elements they once kept in check. History books are full of stories about tyrants who thought they were untouchable until they weren't. 7. The myth of a just world. If power frequently falls into the hands of the unscrupulous, does that imply that morality and fairness are destined to perish? Perhaps not. But grasping this requires us to confront one of modern society's most pervasive myths, the notion that the world is inherently fair. Since we were children, we've been spoon-fed a reassuring narrative that the world operates with fairness, that decent individuals are duly recognized, and that justice ultimately triumphs. However, as we venture into the real world, a harsh discrepancy surfaces. The most diligent among us aren't always the richest. Integrity doesn't guarantee leadership, and often the gentlest souls suffer the deepest wounds. This inconsistency isn't a glitch in the matrix, it is the matrix itself. The idea of fairness is, in many ways, a social construct, a narrative designed to maintain order rather than reflect reality. It is a comforting illusion, but an illusion nonetheless. The final question: strength or integrity? So, what can we do with this knowledge? How do we navigate a world where power rewards the ruthless? Do we abandon our principles, or is there a way to integrate strength with wisdom? That is the question we must explore further, here on Wisdom Unveiled.